Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Katie Shumway, co-director of WeCU. We're so appreciative that you are here with us today to help us celebrate this year's WeCU Community Engaged Scholars. Next slide, please. As a land-grant institution, the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign has a responsibility to acknowledge the historical context in which it exists. In order to remind ourselves and our community, we will begin this event with the following statement. We are currently on the lands of the Peoria, Kaskaskia, Piankashaw, Weah, Miami, Mascoutin, Odawa, Sauk, Meskwaki, Kickapoo, Potawatomi, Ojibwe, and Chickasaw nations. These lands were the traditional territory of these native nations prior to their forced removal. These lands continue to carry the stories of these nations and their struggles for survival and identity. We are obligated to reflect on and actively address these histories and the role that this university has played in shaping them. We also have a responsibility to acknowledge the peoples of these lands, as well as the histories of dispossession that have allowed for the growth of this institution for the past 150 years. This acknowledgement and the centering of Native people is a start as we move forward for the next 150 years.
Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Amy Claymore, and I'm the program manager for WeCU Community Engaged Scholars. And I just want to share a little bit of an overview of what we're going to talk about today and introduce our team. So after welcome and introductions, we'll give a thanks to an acknowledgement to our campus and community partners, recognize our scholars and new this year, our distinguished scholars, discuss our community projects, and talk about some exciting new directions for WeCU. Next slide. So this is the WeCU team. WeCU is led by co-directors Emily Stone and Katie Shumway, but the real heart and soul behind the WeCU program is most definitely our graduate students. Madison Sewell, Erin Budesheim, Gabby Drong, Carlos Nabria Vedas, and Olivia Hagedorn are responsible for all of the program communications, the wonderful reflection, anti-racism, leadership workshops we offer, and for just generally providing guidance and mentorship to each of you. Next slide. And just a brief reminder of what the WeCU program model. WeCU matches University of Illinois students with community organizations in a hub and spoke format, basically creating a single point of entry for community organizations to connect with the amazing students and the wonderful work that you've been able to do for them. Since its inception, WeCU has worked with 1,570 students, 119 classes, over 12 colleges, and our students have dedicated 26,459 hours of their time to making a positive impact in our community and beyond. And that is working with 100 plus community partners and 222 different projects for the community partners that we work with. Next slide.
As Amy mentioned in the last slide, WeCU scholars had the privilege of working with over 100 community organizations, many of which are represented here. Some organizations include the Reading Group, United Way, the University YMCA, and DREAM. We are so fortunate to have so many amazing and passionate community partners who are doing incredible work in our community. Thank you, community partners, for allowing our students a glimpse into the wonderful work that you do. We'll play for you now a short video from one of our wonderful community partners, Dr. Jim Jones, Executive Director of the Reading Group.
And my name is Jim Jones, and I'm the Executive Director of the Reading Group in Champaign, Illinois. We have been working on projects with WeCU for the past year since I started with the Reading Group, and we have just thoroughly enjoyed every part of this process. The students have been working on gathering information for grants, writing policies, developing training manuals for our board and our teachers. And this has been a great experience for all of us. The effect that it's had on the organization is to improve our outcomes, and I have utilized just about every piece of information that the students have gathered over the past year.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jones. I think you might be here. I know you were planning on it. I'm not sure if you made it or not, but thank you so much. Next slide, please, Erin. Thank you. WeSeeU would not be possible without the support of the Office of the Chancellor. We want to take a moment to thank our additional campus partner who support the program in a variety of tremendously valuable ways. We have the Center for Social and Behavioral Sciences, College of Education, College of LAS, Humanities Research Institute, Interdisciplinary Health Sciences Institute, the School of Social Work, and the University of Illinois Alumni Association. Chancellor Jones couldn't be here today, but he has sent a congratulatory message to WeSeeU scholars, which you have hopefully seen by now. We want to echo the congratulations included in his message, where he says, individually, you have each distinguished yourself by your commitment to service to others. And collectively, you have come together to build important new relationships and collaborations with organizations and agencies throughout our entire community. Your service hasn't just helped those throughout the community, it has truly helped create stronger connections between the university and our surrounding cities and county. We now want to provide special recognition to the distinguished WeSeeU scholars who have completed 200 or more hours of service during their time with WeSeeU. These students should be incredibly proud of their accomplishments, and this is the very first group of students who have ever received this distinction. These students include Julia Pohl, who has been with the program since day one. Julia completed 270 hours of service. Julia is a junior in elementary education and Spanish and plans to pursue graduate studies in education policy. Nicole Zhang completed 264 hours of service, is a senior in accountancy and finance, and plans to pursue a master's degree in business analytics. Cherish Rasira has also been with the program since day one, has completed 269 hours of service, and actually graduated in May of 21 with degrees in English and community health, and is currently a communications coordinator at Abbott. Isabel Gleason has been with the program since we started. Isabel completed a whopping 971 hours of service. Isabel is a senior in music education and plans to teach music in the Seattle area. And Daniel Kaufman has also been with the program since we started. Daniel completed 206 hours of service, is a junior in bioengineering. And we actually have Isabel Gleason here with us live, and we'd like to invite Isabel to unmute and provide some words about her time in the program. Isabel, if you are here, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much. So as you just mentioned, my name is Isabel Gleason, and I'm a senior in music education. I have loved being a part of WeSeeU. I started right when COVID happened, so it was a wonderful thing to fill up the time. Wonderful thing. It's been truly instrumental in expanding my understanding of education and applying real life experience to education. And as I just mentioned as well, it was very important due to COVID because all of our courses really did not allow us to go into school. So I was able to get those real life experiences through WeSeeU. Some of the community partners that I worked with include University Primary School, which is the elementary school run by the university. I also interned with local school districts just outside of Champaign-Urbana. I also was a TA for University Chorus, which is a college level choir. And I was the director of sensory sensitive community concert, which was in partnership with Urbana Arts and Culture, which was a wonderful experience. I really, as I just said, I really love WeSeeU. It really helped me figure out the needs of the learners in the community, which have such a vast range for the age groups and musical backgrounds. And I'm just so proud to be a WeSeeU scholar.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Isabel. Thank you for being here with us. Everything you have accomplished is just so very impressive, and we really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We would like to now play for you Cherish's video that includes some reflection about her experience with WeSeeU.
There is so much that I've carried forward from my time volunteering with Chicago Department of Public Health and with Cress Health. But if I really had to choose one thing, it's that no matter your age, the color of your skin, or, well, your experiences overall, people want to hear from you. They really value your thoughts and what you bring to the table, so never be afraid to speak up about what's going through your mind. It's definitely influenced my professional life. It's encouraged me to be more proactive about sharing my thoughts and taking ownership of projects, just so I know that I am heard at that table, even though I recognize that I am more junior. I think it's also important to speak up to build those relationships. We talk a lot about networking. Volunteering is one way to do that, and you continue networking even when you found a full-time job. So I think that number one thing that I've taken away from my time at Chicago Department of Public Health and with Cress Health is, well, advocating for myself, speaking up, bringing myself to the table, because no one else can do that for me. And you should be willing to speak up for yourself too.
Okay, we are now going to get into our projects, the many, many projects that our students have worked on, and we've categorized these by different themes. And the first theme that we will discuss is combating isolation. So WeSeeU began in the throes of the pandemic, and we're still in this ongoing public health crisis that has been really isolating for people. So our students engaged in combating against isolation by writing letters to students or to self-isolating seniors with letters against isolation to brighten their days, working with the Center for Youth and Family Solutions to engage with their senior clients by writing letters, and engaging in program development by planning activities, developing virtual activities, and identifying activities that could be sent out to customers with Circle of Friends Adult Day Center. And one of our wonderful students, Elizabeth Coder, this is her perspective on her time with WeSeeU. She says, in my second semester of volunteering with Books to Prisoners, I've continued to learn more about the prison system and prison education systems in the United States. In reading Righting My Wrongs, a memoir by Shaka Senor, a formerly incarcerated man from Detroit, I was both heartened and heartbroken to hear about the impact that books had on him during his time in prison. As university students, I think we often take for granted the fact that we have access to just about any book we can imagine. Shaka described books as a wonderful gift to him during his time in prison, which made me appreciate the work we do at B2P in sending books to incarcerated people in Illinois that much more.
Thank you so much, Erin. Now we're going to continue with our next theme in our program, which is social justice, part of the essence and core of service and community engagement in WeSeeU. These are all of the community partners that we had under the theme of social justice, including Salt and Light, where students volunteered in the operations of the thrift store and groceries in the organization. The McKinley Giving Garden, which students engaged in weeding, hands-on, harvesting, and planting at the organization. Shannon Murrah Foundation, when students assisted in the Bucket Brigade and Canasta Básica programs by packaging and carrying out groceries for the community. For Osprey, the mobile market, volunteers also provided staffing on the mobile market to help set up and load the produce for the community and customers. And the Center for the Prevention, Research, and Development, in which students who were very passionate about civic education and social justice worked as a team to create these implementation videos and train facilitators and advocacy resources as well. We also want to include Unity in Action magazine, in which students conducted several media and journalism work, including interviews, covered news stories, and wrote documentaries and research projects for the organization. The Education Justice Project, particularly the organization's community library, in which scholars helped the library in creating flyers and utilize social media to advertise their book drives. The Center for Prevention Research and Development, in which passionate students also created policy documents and program resources. And one of the wonderful things that WeSeeU also has is that students can get to self-identify other projects in the community outside the partners that WeSeeU offers. Some of them were the Crisis Nursery, in which students help staff at the emergency level, providing childcare service for children, and Books to Prisoners, in which scholars also work with the program to provide literacy and education for incarcerated individuals across the state of Illinois by sending them books directly, as well as fundraising. We now want to hear also another student perspective from our student Alisa Holguin, who is also joining us today, who is a sophomore in interdisciplinary health sciences.
As a rising sophomore in the summer of 2021 and experiencing my first year of college in the midst of the pandemic, I was determined to find a way to become involved through such challenges. And luckily, through the WeSeeU program, I was given the opportunity to have such involvement through a remote service project with the Champaign-Urbana Public Health District. From this experience, I learned and still carry with me the importance and value of continuously reaching outside your level of knowledge and skill, as it helps you grow and develop as an individual, as well as form new interests that you never thought you would before. I took on the role as a social media assistant with no prior background or knowledge on running social media accounts for such an organization, and found myself quite fond of the project, as well as the skills that I developed, and hope to take on similar projects in the near future. As a rising sophomore,
So our next theme that we're going to talk about today is youth advocacy and education, which so many of our students like Isabel become really passionate about in their time with WeSeeU. So our students work with a bunch of different organizations and local schools. One of the most popular organizations that we partner with is DREAM, where our students worked with staff and students to run programs, work as tutors, and serve as role models to children in our community. CU Safe Routes to School was another organization that our students worked with this past year, where scholars helped to further develop ideas for how to create unique educational programs where young people could see how the built world around them is put together and how infrastructure can create safer, healthier, and more inclusive communities. One of our students pursued a self-identified project with Yankee Ridge Elementary School as a classroom aide, assisting local elementary school children with math and literacy skills, as well as planning tasks and helping out the teacher. Isabel, of course, worked with music instruction at multiple local schools during her time at the University of Illinois and WeSeeU, and we're so proud of the work that she did. Another group that we just heard from Jim, of course, that our students tend to work with is the reading group. And so our students this past year developed a comprehensive business plan and reviewed paper files to create a database of all former students and participants. Project Success of Vermilion County, so next door or county over from us, our students worked to develop a comprehensive training manual for their new site coordinator hires. RPC, Early Childhood Education, also welcomed WeSeeU students this past year, and our scholars assisted with research and gathering community data to update their annual community assessment. Our students also worked with Angels Youth Center in Urbana, engaging in grant funding, organizing new music and arts programs, developing tools and documents to measure their organization's growth, and helping out with their social media. Children's Home and Aid also welcomed WeSeeU students who created social media content and assisted with community outreach. And finally, the Well experience, our students helped tutor one-on-one tutoring pre-K through third grade students, helping them prepare for the next school year. And so one of our students, Joseph, offered his perspective of working alongside Uniting Pride this past semester. As most of my work for Uniting Pride this semester was helping to promote and produce the organization's queer prom, most of my learning about the community was in the needs that this event addressed. Queer prom gave young people in Central Illinois an opportunity that they would not likely get at their middle or high school, a chance to attend prom without hiding, sacrificing, or changing their identity to feel more safe or comfortable. Witnessing the large attendance of the event and the wide range of racial, cultural, and ethnic backgrounds among attendees showed me how much of a need for this event there was, as well as how that need stretches across demographics.
Thank you, Olivia. The next theme that many of our projects fell under is language justice and immigrant services. The 4 projects that fit within these themes were the University YMCA, PACE Inc. Center for Independent Living, Champaign County Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities Boards, and Family Service of Champaign County. With the University YMCA, students participated in translation work on materials, including flyers, promotional projects, birth certificates, and legal documents. With the PACE Inc. Center, our student volunteers assisted in recruitment and assistance of consumers and families by translating materials such as orientations and data sheets into Spanish. With the Champaign County Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities Boards, scholars engaged in translation projects into Spanish, French, and Arabic. And finally, under the Family Service of Champaign County projects, volunteers translated materials into Spanish. And this is a student perspective from one of our WCU scholars, Nixie. Much of my volunteer work involved helping provide resources that would help minority communities. 2 of the volunteer opportunities I participated in were particularly aimed at helping my community, the Latino Hispanic community, through translation. What I learned is that although it is a fast-growing population, communities must do a better job at adjusting for this population's needs, whether that means providing more translation services, resources, educational material in other languages, etc. Education is key to reducing disparities as it gives individuals access to resources and opportunities.
Thank you, Madison. For our next theme, we'll be talking about ways that our students provided outreach to our community members. So some of the organizations that students worked with were Mature Markets, Inc., where students updated the organization's website and also improved database content by updating the filtering algorithms. Students also worked with Habitat for Humanity of Champaign County, where they created and developed a Google ad campaign to help market the Habitat for Humanity restore. Champaign Center Partnership was also involved with our students, where our students researched and wrote blog posts, listicles, and other promotional content that featured local Champaign businesses. And scholars also helped write grants to fund programs for the city of Champaign Township. A student perspective from Bryn Kenner. She says, being involved in WeSeeU and volunteering at Salt and Light, I uncovered many different parts of the community I had no idea were happening. From this service project, I learned more about our community's needs and the various people who come together who create our community. At Salt and Light, I was surrounded by many different people, such as people who needed assistance and those who were also giving back. I think the credit system is vital at Salt and Light because they were using the donations they receive to assist those in the community, while also allowing the organization to stay running by those who use it.
Thank you, Gabby. Our next theme is health and mental wellness, which we know were big concerns over the last year. Our students participated in several projects that fall under this theme. For example, Rattle the Stars, our students analyzed data and created summary reports, including significant findings for trends in quantitative data and common themes amongst significant findings in qualitative data. Our students worked with Promise Healthcare to aid in grant writing projects. Our volunteers worked with Central Illinois Neuropsychological Services to conduct literature searches and writing summaries that related to neuropsychological characteristics of Lewy bodies, Parkinson's, vascular, frontotemporal, and Alzheimer's dementia. And then Luea's Lodge NFP, our students were involved in reaching out to local restaurants and grocery stores for food donations to offset costs of meals for guests, leading group sessions surrounding grief and child loss, identifying evidence-based activities to help guests connect with one another and process their grief, and develop a list of potential consultants to provide these services. Develop a satisfaction survey for the guests to assess their impact and inform future events to be held by the lodge. Additionally, our volunteers worked with Hope Lives Youth Ranch to find grant opportunities and then engage in writing those grants. The WELL experience, our students helped develop fundraising efforts, letters, brochures, postcards, etc., and virtual fundraising information to be sent out throughout the year. And then fundraising allowed the organization to serve more families. And finally, Soul Care Urban Retreat Center, our students reached out to RSOs and campus, academic and student affairs offices, community organizations to publicize Soul Care's offerings. And volunteers created promotional materials, resource recommendations, and social media posts to market open house and self-care events for community members. One of our students gave this perspective. My service has shaped my understanding of our community's needs as I learned about the pressing financial, food, and healthcare disparities members of the Champaign and Urbana communities face. It has become evident to me that many needs of the community are perpetuated by an economic system that limits one's ability to move into a more financially secure position. As a result, volunteering time to organizations that work toward providing resources and opportunities to individuals in need is among the best ways to create change in our community.
Thank you so much, Erin. And we're going to move on to our next category, which is art and culture, right? The essence that reminds us again as human beings that we're bound to one another and remind ourselves of the importance of arts and humanities in service and community engagement. For this category, we have City of Urbana, which volunteers photograph the beautiful scenery of our neighborhoods, business corridors, and art murals. The Hillel at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, in which students conducted historical research about the history of the Hillel in our community. And the Urbana Arts and Culture program, in which students worked on projects related to marketing, promotions, and outreach, including developing social media content and engaging in different outreach events. We want to highlight once again the wonderful work of Isabel Gleason in a quote that they shared with us, which was, "Through the WeSeeU program, I have truly developed my skills as a musician and educator in numerous ways. Having the experience to work with both on the back end through administrative tasks and lesson planning, and on the front end through interactions with students has been a wonderful experience overall. In working with surrounding communities of Champaign-Urbana of CU, I have learned that the need for quality music education is ever present." We couldn't agree more with you, Isabel. "The host teachers I work with are working to create a better place for their students through creative performance experience throughout their everyday lives."
Okay, so that concludes the portion of our celebration today where we talk about project themes. And so we want to conclude by briefly talking about new directions and exciting new things on the horizon for WeSeeU and WeSeeU scholars. And so one of the things that we're most excited to announce is the University of Illinois Humanities in Action Scholarship Program. So WeSeeU, in collaboration with the Humanities Research Institute at the University of Illinois, is excited to announce the University of Illinois Humanities in Action Program. It's clear from our conversations with our students that many of you face barriers that prevent you from taking advantage of WeSeeU's opportunities. And so we're launching this program to remove some of those financial barriers and to encourage our humanities students to take their learning outside of the classroom and into our community. Humanities in Action has been generously funded by former Illinois alum, Dr. Daniel Shin. And with his help and the help of HRI, we're excited to honor 7 humanities majors and minors this coming semester who have really demonstrated a commitment to service and community during their time at the University of Illinois. And so we're going to play a brief video, our final video for the day, I believe, from Dr. Antoinette Burton, who is the director of HRI, and she has a brief message just congratulating our Humanities in Action recipients.
Greetings. My name is Antoinette Burton, and I'm the director of the Humanities Research Institute here at the University of Illinois. I'm so happy to be part of the team that welcomes you as the first Humanities in Action cohort at WeCU. At the Humanities Research Institute, we're thrilled to have you joining the hundreds of Illinois students who work with WeCU to serve the needs and ambitions of our local community partners. As students particularly committed to bringing humanities knowledge and values alive in practice, you are uniquely positioned to remind us of how important a liberal arts education is in this challenging world. Together with all those at HRI who support the Humanities in Action program, including our generous donor, Dr. Daniel Shin, I offer my warmest congratulations to you on being chosen as the pioneers of what we hope will be the beginning of a very important legacy at the university and beyond. Congratulations.
Thank you, Erin, for all of your wonderful multitasking. Lastly, we want to again extend a huge congratulations to all of our dedicated community engaged scholars, as well as our campus partners and community partners this past year. We'll end with this quote by Bertolt Brecht: "Don't accept the habitual as a natural thing. In times of disorder, of organized confusion, of dehumanized humanity, nothing should seem natural. Nothing should seem impossible to change." So thank you all for being here. Congratulations, scholars, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.